So looking rather bullish. A continuation of it. Longer term, right? I believe this is probably a little bit what we're coming for. That gap, even though I know it's been filled by these wicks, we still just, we still haven't closed bodies solidly through there. So it's still, to me, kind of an open space that price is going to want to get back to. Just like a hole in the chart. But inside this liquidity now, I think this is going to be somewhat significant in the next day or so, if not today. And as much as I want to remove this line, I just think it's in play right now. I'm thinking about bringing this back just a little bit, just to clear up this space. It's still here. This area is still here. This monthly fair value gap still has some openings that it could come back down to if it wants to. I would just like to see the market continue now. Now that we've kind of broke this structure, right? We continue the next day. Let's just make some new highs. Let's see. Yesterday, y'all had some decent trades in the morning, wasn't it? Setups were happening, but yeah, right there around no market open was pretty nice. Now look at the y'all's trades. No. Yesterday was pretty choppy. We had that one surge. We drop in here. We had this one little surge of price action. And that was really it. With the ES, the NQ actually was a little more playable through some of this. I ended up taking a trade. Right off at 21 right there. No, it was right here. 61 was my entry. So yeah, it was this guy. So I ended up taking a trade right there. Um, reason for it was just more feeling than anything. It had nothing to do with really fair value gaps or anything like that. I played it on the 3-minute chart, and we just broke above this, held above it. When we made this and continued, I decided to jump in. Popped up. I was looking for 1500. I think 1505 is where I actually got out of the trade. So we come back down to the 21 and held. My stop, I think, was somewhere right in here. I wasn't really managing this trade. I just kind of let it go. And then it popped up into the area where I was wanting to get out at, which is roughly around 1505. 15,505. And that was kind of the high of the day almost, went a little bit higher than that. But this area right here saw it a little bit later in the day, but was satisfied with this trade. Didn't want to just jump in into another one. Didn't really trust it because of how much we dropped. I thought to a certain point that we would continue down, grabbing a little bit more of this. Nice little inefficiency right there. So that's what I was assuming yesterday afternoon would kind of have, and then maybe some choppiness overnight. But instead, it did. It actually did pop up and kind of hold that high for a little bit. Overnight, we held structure. That's exactly where we're at right now. So let's go back out. I wanted more downside here. We didn't get it yesterday morning. I think I was talking about more downside, and we didn't get it. So at some point, we should see some downside, right? We should see some of this liquidity and inefficiency being covered. But you would think. But Monday we were talking about it needing to come down into here, or I wanted to see it come down into here, and it just like took off on, Monday was choppy, Tuesday took off. And then yesterday we thought we were getting this rollover, and I thought we were going to come down, taking more of this out, and it didn't. Just kind of pop back up. So maybe at some point we'll go from this structure to this structure, maybe for a little bit today. It's one of those things that we do still have some news out there. PCE news coming out at 7:30. China has some news tonight. That's not an AM, that's a PM. So China's tonight, but the PCE and unemployment claims for the US dollar comes out at 8:30 today. So this looks a little bearish, just this little move right here on this hourly chart. So might see maybe you can draw a consequent encroachment line on this big wick right here at the news line yesterday for the pending home sales market open. This guy. I'm not going to leave it there, but could be a good place for price to come into. Almost coincides with the top of this structure here. So it's a good confluence. If we zoom in some more, these body closes are right there at it too. So could be a pretty good spot for price to want to come down. And then maybe that's where we get the bounce from. Or if we break through, this to me is going to be kind of a key area. So, I mean, if you really zoom in on these 3 or 4 candles too, you can see like this is going to be a lot of junk. We're looking on the 15-minute chart, that's just a lot of junk right in there. So, a lot of reasons for price to just kind of stall out if it gets down into here. But I've been saying we're going to get a pullback, all week. We should come into liquidity. We should come into liquidity. And it has just been tearing up higher. Yes. Could be setting up for a TGIF setup. Yeah. And probably take all of the liquidity that I've been calling for in one fell swoop. Yeah. Possibly. Yeah. Especially the news driver tomorrow being non-farm. And even though it was not good for the dollar, that doesn't mean Friday won't be. We've seen those numbers not really coincide with one another. I think the GDP numbers were actually more surprising to me than anything. But I do like this to be a little bearish. 21 kind of hold this down, like this structure right here. Price kind of get into, stall out, and then keep working down. We break these lows, then obviously I think we're coming down into this consequent encroachment. I think I will leave that on the chart for right now, just because everything to the left was in this area. So I will keep that there. Let's go look at the ES, see what it looks like. Obviously, it looks a little stronger. To the hourly. Just perfectly bounced off that spot right there. So a little divergence between the ES and the NQ right there. Yeah. A little bit of divergence, not much. But I mean, it's kind of the same story, right? We've got liquidity built up below here. I would expect price to come down. We have some pretty significant news coming out, so be careful and watch that. But if we do have another bull day today, which I would love to have another bull day today, then yeah, TGIF is definitely in play for tomorrow. Is if we look at the week, huge week. And take, oh, I need to flip that, I think. No. So we add these two guys, 20 to 30%. This is that area. And that's if we don't go any higher right now. Clearly. That's that area you're going to look for. Well, TGIF. Let's change the color of it. Let's put you back down here at the top of the structure. If we go into a daily on that, it's probably, yeah, we get into that fair value gap. So wouldn't mind seeing another push up today. Probably finish a little bullish, maybe more choppy than yesterday. Is probably this, so the momentum can be a little slower, possibly. And then tomorrow, maybe a little false push, and then a drop into that 20 to 30% range. So this is Friday, Monday. Yeah. We'll redraw that. Let me go. I was going to take that off. We'll redraw that um, later today. Wrong one. Muted. I didn't know I was muted. Sorry. Um, yeah. Usually you get the push. That extra little false little move into some highs or into the lows in the morning time, and it's almost like that inducement, like push, and then you get that 23 or 20 to 30% pullback. That wasn't last week, right? It was it this week? 2 weeks ago? Yeah. August 18th. So Monday was kind of an up, but Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday were down. And then Friday, yeah. Didn't really it just it's just printing it. Normally it would like give me what the candle did first. Yeah, right there. And that was a good setup too on Friday. We kind of dropped overnight and then and I mean this looks a little bit of the opposite nature, right? Whereas that Friday we had a clear here and then a go. And it was from there. Whereas this one, see if we hang out for a minute, even though we didn't really make crazy new highs, where that one was a pretty good push into the lows. we do still have all this liquidity underneath here that we can definitely be going for. Mean threshold of this huge candle here. We go to hourly. Mm, 30-minute. There we go. It's pretty close to that wick we were looking at on the NQ, right? Yeah. Yeah, just about. So I hate when it does that. So something that could be looked at is getting down there. Go to 15-minute chart, see what that looks like. Pretty straight line. Dollar has just been getting beat up. So yesterday we were here, talked about how it was pretty bearish, and that's what we got all day yesterday. And then today we're getting that nice pullback in the dollar. I just wonder if it's like preparing for bad news, right? Pricing in, like trying to get up to a certain level before we drop again. A lot of noise on this chart. Yeah. Yeah. News at 8:30. Core PCE and unemployment claims both come out at the same time. Unemployment claims are projected a little bit higher than last month, and but last month beat. So actually, I'm sorry, the forecast is a little lower than what the forecast was last week. Um, we only had 1 week in the past 5 where we missed the mark, and we missed it pretty good bit. Looks like, yeah, we swept these lows right here. Didn't quite make it down to that structure though. Let's see what we do around this mean threshold again. That's going to kind of be the tell all. Breaking structure and that mean threshold. If we hold above that, then we're going to continue higher. Maybe get back into that range. That would definitely be a bearish day. So we don't want a bearish day in the market. So maybe the dollar gets choppy and the market can do what it wants to do. And yesterday we were talking about the pound being strong, pushed up that morning right into the news, and then just went straight sideways. But this was the big move on it. I think it did it, obviously. Euro USD was the same way. Aussie had a good push too. Yeah, from the news. We were talking about how bullish everything was. I like the pound more than I did any of it. And it looks like it didn't move as much, but it was right here. Pull back and go. But yeah, battleground right there at mean threshold. And we push, market gets bearish. If the news comes out and it's a little bit, you know, unsatisfying, then the market will continue to run today. Crazy. Wow. Just that hourly. Yeah. Wait till we get out of that little funk of a spot right here. Oh, see you, Fred. Yeah. As far as today is the same as the rest of the week, right? We've got liquidity that price could come down and get for sure. This mean threshold it could be in play, and actually this consequent encroachment on the NQ could be in play, and we've got a pretty strong news driver. So pay attention to the news. Comes out at 8:30 Eastern time, and see if we can't get make something happen. Maybe an ends trade today. If we end up with a silver bullet, that's fine. But the news at 8:30 and then the market opening at 9:30, maybe by that time it'll have settled and give us a decent little silver bullet between 10 and 11 when the market decides exactly where it want to go. Don't really want to see this choppiness again. I'd like to see price level out for a whole minute, for a whole little bit, and then give us like a good push to the upside for the news. And then tomorrow, if we get another bullish day today, then TGIF trade tomorrow. But I think I'm going to call it here too. Again, not real much to really talk about when it comes to the markets. This is where it was yesterday. This is where it is today. Like we just kind of went in a pretty good sideways motion. I would like to see some downside this morning. Then when news comes out, let it take the market where it wants to go a little bit higher. So it's kind of what I'm looking for right now for the day. So just be careful wherever you're at when you're watching. Pay attention to the time and the news, and we'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all not tomorrow, but next week. All right, Kyle. Be safe, bro.